A vlogger recorded a simple outdoor video in the woods when viewers later noticed something disturbing.
We're going to give the best photo, bison cooler. So you're going to be able to pack your hunting stuff. You're going to be able to pack your drinks, all that kind of stuff when you're out hunting.
Behind him, a tall, dark figure seemed to move among the trees. The man, focused on his camera, appeared unaware of anything unusual. What unsettled viewers was not just the figure itself, but the thought that it lingered unnoticed so close. A hiker near Priest Lake, Idaho, stopped to snap a few photos when sudden movement in the trees caught his eye. Unsure of what it was, he began recording.
It's crazy.
Moments later, a massive figure emerged, towering 7 to 8 feet tall, its body covered in dark fur, striding slowly through the forest. But with the potato quality footage and the distance between them, it's impossible to say for sure what was really out there. After a long climb to Panorama Ridge near Black Tusk Mountain, a group of hikers paused to take in the sweeping view. The peaks stretched endlessly, but then something unusual caught their eye.
What are we looking at? Seriously, are we all seeing the same thing, right?
Yeah! Yo!
Far across the glacier, a lone, dark figure moved steadily down the icy slope. Its stride was powerful, deliberate, not quite like any hiker they'd ever seen. In that remote stretch of British Columbia's mountains, one thought lingered. Had they just witnessed a Sasquatch? In Alberta, a man was riding his ATV along the quiet trails near the North Saskatchewan River. As he sped down the path, something unusual caught his eye. A dark figure standing beside the trail. He kept driving, uneasy, unsure of who or what could be out there. Moments later, it was gone from sight. While hiking in Ward, Colorado, this man captured something unusual on camera. What appears to be two Bigfoot-like figures. One stands upright, thin but muscular, with broad shoulders, a long neck, and a small head. In front of it, a crouched figure is faintly visible, though harder to make out. Colorado has a long history of strange sightings. Prospectors in the 1800s reported ape-like beings, and native traditions speak of tall, hairy creatures roaming the mountains. In the 1960s and 70s, encounters spiked, and even today, hikers report everything from dark shapes crossing trails to strange howls echoing at night, even rocks being thrown near camps. Could this image be yet another fragment of Colorado's enduring mystery? On August 19, 2009, a trail camera was set up in remote bushland for a scientific survey, but what it captured wasn't what anyone expected. A tall, broad, dark figure can be seen walking behind the bushes. The foliage makes it hard to see clearly. So, was it just an ordinary hiker dressed in black, or could this truly have been Bigfoot? A TikToker recently shared an intriguing trail cam video. The footage opens with a thickly wooded forest, and within seconds, a creature appears in the background. At first glance, it resembles an ape or gorilla, yet its posture and the way it holds its neck set it apart from typical primates. Was it just a person, or could it be something else? A man wandered into Wayne National Forest in Ohio. By a tall waterfall, nearly 90 feet high, he stood listening to the heavy roar of water as it crashed into the cave floor. Later that evening, while watching the footage, he noticed something strange. On a ridge above the trees, a huge dark figure moved smoothly across the slope. It was upright, larger than a human, and vanished into the forest without a sound. At the time, he hadn't realized it was there, and he also hadn't seen any person that entire day. What was with him? Bigfoot? In July 2021, a hiker in Benson, Utah took a photo hoping to capture the view. But what he didn't realize was that he had also captured a dark, upright figure near the bushes. The shape appeared tall and human-like, though the distance made details impossible to confirm. Some suggest it could have been a bear, or even a person in dark clothing. But how did the hiker not notice it at the time? While hiking, Daniel Benoit and his wife found fresh footprints in the soft ground.
Well, this here looks like a track going this way. There's a heel. And here's your toes right there going that way. We didn't see that one before. There's another one up here. Alright, something got ahead. Look, it got stepped on by something. Because look, this track right here, this here had toes right up. Oh, wait a minute.
They followed the trail toward a small clearing. He focused his camera on a dark figure on the hillside.
I keep seeing something up there, up on the hill there on the lower part of the ridge. I don't know, it could be a stump. It's a dark image up there. Look.
Yeah.
Look at it, it moved.
Its head moved.
It's moving, it's trying to hide from us. Dude, look.
There he went again. He's playing high-boo.
Dude, he's moving. There's a squatch up there. He's blurred, you know, because I try not to zoom in too much.
At first, it looked like a stump, but then it moved, sliding behind bushes, ducking, always just out of sight. They got out of there quickly, feeling increasingly unsafe. 4 hikers posed for a photo deep in the woods at night, smiling, unaware of what lingered nearby. At first glance, the shot looked perfectly ordinary, but in the darkness behind them, 2 glowing eyes stared back. What started as a cheerful memory suddenly felt unsettling. It could have been an animal, but not many stand at that kind of height. One thing's for sure, those hikers weren't alone in the woods. While hiking with her dog in the woods, she accidentally captured something strange.
Isn't this gorgeous?
In the distance, between the bushes, a large brown figure can be seen standing, before slowly walking away. Of course, the footage is pure potato quality, making it impossible to identify whatever was lurking in those woods that day. On January 22, 2020, the Washington State Department of Transportation shared webcam photos from Sherman Pass on State Route 20. One of the photos caught attention, showing what appeared to be a tall, human-like figure near a tree. Some dismissed it as a trick of the light, but many were convinced it was Bigfoot. Eastern Washington has long been a hotspot for such sightings, and Sherman Pass itself carries decades of strange reports, making the mystery hard to ignore. A hiker was wandering deep in the forest when he noticed a large figure. Unsure of what it was, he grabbed his camera and started recording. Suddenly, a massive black figure emerged briefly from behind a tree. Its towering size and broad frame suggested something far larger than any ordinary animal. Before the lens could capture more, the hiker panicked and the video cut off. Many believe it was Bigfoot, pointing to its height and dark fur, but with only a fleeting glimpse, the truth remains uncertain. In 2015, a hiker captured this photo in Singapore's Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. It shows a hunched figure with reddish-brown hair wading through shallow water. Its long arms and human-like build match typical Bigfoot descriptions. But from just a blurry photo, it's impossible to identify for sure. I've shown this footage before. This time, there's more. In 2013, a trail camera in Texas recorded something shocking. A massive figure climbing a farm fence with ease. Its features matched classic Bigfoot reports: a towering frame, long arms, and shaggy dark fur. To test the scale, Davis later stood by the very same fence. Even while hunched, the figure stood 4 to 5 feet taller, placing it close to 9 or even 10 feet. On May 27, 2015, Survivor Bigfoot aired this footage.
By the trees.
It caught a dark figure moving through the woods. It wasn't just walking. It climbed a steep mountain slope with surprising ease, something unlikely for anyone in a bulky costume. The clip was credited to Todd Standing, a name well known in Bigfoot research. For many, it remains one of the most convincing pieces of Bigfoot footage ever shown on television. A motorist in Japan's Mount Hiba region captured a truly unusual sight. While driving, he noticed a strange creature walking on all fours. But as he got closer, it suddenly stood upright on 2 legs, before trying to hide. This is the photo he managed to take that day. Shaken, he didn't investigate any further, and simply drove on. A man in South Carolina was hiking when he spotted what first seemed like a bear in the woods, but the longer he watched, the less it resembled one. Its body looked more like a giant ape, and when it finally stood up, it didn't move on all fours. It walked upright, just like a person. Later that same evening, as he returned home, a loud, unsettling noise echoed from the top of a tree near his front door, deepening the mystery of what he had really witnessed.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. Bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down.
A trail camera in a city-restored natural area captured 2 photos of a strange figure moving through the forest at night. In one shot, the figure pauses on a small bridge linking 2 wetlands. The exact location has not been shared to protect the area and its wildlife. What makes these images unusual is they weren't posted by random people online, but were allegedly released by city officials themselves. With the restoration bringing back wildlife, The presence of this unexplained figure raises a bigger question. What is really roaming there at night? Two guys were camping when they recorded this video.
All right.
Paint you up with grease paint.
While filming, they heard a sound through their laughter coming from the woods.
Grease paint.
They rewatched the video to make sense of it, but it didn't seem familiar. For viewers, it's hard to say if it was just one of them. But if it's real, what could it have been? At the New York State Fair, visitors were stunned by a bizarre display. What was claimed to be the real body of a Bigfoot. Nicknamed Dak, it was said to have been discovered in the Adirondack Mountains in 2024 by cryptozoologist Charles Snake Stewart. The figure appeared intact, complete with tissue samples and evidence supposedly linking it both to humans and Neanderthals. The exhibit instantly divided opinion. Some hailed it as the long-awaited missing link in evolution, while others dismissed it as just another elaborate hoax. But here's the thing. If this were real, wouldn't it be one of the biggest discoveries in human history? And yet, hardly any media attention. That alone makes it hard to believe. A group of explorers was in a remote stretch of forest at an unknown location when they discovered gigantic human-like footsteps.
This is some of the little one's tracks. It's in here. About 9 inches long. Pretty good little tracks.
Near the prints, they had a trail camera set up. They watched the footage, hoping it had captured whatever made the prints. It showed a pale, human-like figure moving through the trees. It was far away, recorded on an old, grainy camera, but one thing was clear. It was massive. Some think it might be a light-colored Sasquatch, or even something like a Yeti. Others say it could just be a person. But how do you explain the enormous footprints found nearby? That can't be a coincidence. During a picnic by a quiet lake, a father filmed his daughter when his camera caught something strange.
Whoa, what was that?
In the background, a tall figure appeared, its arms unnaturally wide and its legs long, giving it a beast-like appearance. The video was uploaded online and quickly spread. The poor quality makes it hard to confirm what was captured, but it's difficult to imagine Bigfoot appearing in such a public space. So, what could it be? A camper staying in the Vampirk forest in the Czech Republic captured a truly terrifying moment.
To kurwa je. Ono se přibližilo. OK, jdu do prdela. OK, jdu do piči.
As he moved deeper into the woods, strange screams echoed all around him, high-pitched, almost human. To this day, the source of those screams remains unknown. This group swore they had captured something unusual on camera at the county landfill. According to them, it looked far too big to be human, and though it isn't clearly visible in the footage, it was moving. But would a Bigfoot really be out there in the open like that? Who knows? A woman's security camera in Suburban in Illinois caught a strange figure in her yard. At first, it looked unusual enough for some to joke about it being a baby Bigfoot, but the blur was deceptive. On closer look, the shape and movement matched something ordinary. It wasn't a monster at all, just a squirrel leaping midair, its body stretched in a way that made it seem far more mysterious than it really was. At Nanowin Rivers Park in Canada, a man filmed his walk along a frozen river. At first, he only noticed animal droppings scattered across the ice. Moments later, he found a thick strand of black hair. Curious, he kept moving closer to the tree line, but that's when things took a terrifying turn. From the forest, a massive fur-covered figure emerged, walking in the distance. The moment it noticed him, it suddenly charged forward. Realizing the danger, the man turned and fled. This photo was recently shared online, and unlike most sightings, there's almost no backstory, just the image itself. It shows a tall, brown figure striding through a dirt clearing, with dense forest stretching behind it. At the bottom of the frame, a roadside guardrail and post hint that it was snapped along a remote backcountry road, likely somewhere in the US. The figure's fur clings close to its body, revealing clear muscle lines, broad shoulders, and massive feet, too detailed for a cheap costume. The photo has fueled heated debate. Could this be one of the clearest images of Bigfoot ever taken, or is it nothing more than a clever AI creation? Back in December 2019, a Reddit user visiting their great-grandfather's sprawling 5,000-acre cattle ranch in Northern California's Plumas foothills captured something strange. The land stretched from the valley floor to forested hills, and on that quiet day, an eerie sound echoed through the trees.
It's creepy.
A distant howl made it into their short recording, faint yet deeply unsettling. Who or what could have made it? Could it have been a Sasquatch? This Reddit user was hiking in the Pacific Northwest when he snapped a photo of something he saw moving in the woods. When he checked the photo, it became clearer. It was an ape-like creature walking upright, covered in black fur. It didn't resemble any known animal in the area, but it did look a lot like a well-known legend around here. Bigfoot. Did he just capture Bigfoot? While checking storm damage in the Allegheny Mountains north of West Virginia, a National Weather Service team snapped this photo. Later, someone noticed a black figure behind a fallen tree. They never spoke to the person who took the photo, so it could still be a cutout. Unfortunately, that seems likely. Just look at the perfect classic Bigfoot shape. It's exactly the same. Nikki went on a solo camping trip deep in the backcountry. The roads were damaged from Hurricane Helene, but she found a remote clearing and set up camp. During a short hike before sunset, she heard knocking sounds in the woods.
Thought I heard some knocking coming from that direction. Kinda sound like somebody knocking on a tree. But, could have been a woodpecker or anything like that, I guess.
Uneasy, she returned, set up lights, and called her husband. Later, they found this.
What's that? I don't know. It's big, though. It's a big old track. Compared to my foot. Compared to your foot, it's still big.
It's right here. They still cut all this out, like you said.
Yeah. Shine your headlight down in there so we can get a better view of it. Be careful. Look up at those trees, son. That's just piles and piles of trees.
A large footprint. Creeped out by the woods, they decide to call it a night and head out first thing in the morning. A group on an expedition in the Antarctic snow saw something walking in the distance. No one was allowed or even able to walk there. One of them snapped a quick photo before it disappeared. Later, another group found a giant footprint on the same trail. Fresh, even though no one had been there in the past few days. They're certain something is out there. These things just don't make sense. And for more Bigfoot sightings, watch this next video.